And now. So, like I was saying,
Yeah.
right? I was
Right.
in the process. I'm building my site. Okay.
Uh,
Had that conversation with you the other day. I mean, when I tell you everything happened, I was like, you know what? I got to be in this space, right? Because first and foremost, I was in the smoke. I was in a whole sense of a fog. You hear me? And we gonna really deal with that and talk with that. But I had to get out of that smoke, and I realized that what I needed to do is I had to jump into it. Started creating my website and speaking to what you were just talking about previously about this space. Like I had a site and I was like, this ain't me no more. Like I'm a whole different person now. And started changing, spend all night. I couldn't rest. I needed to do something. And
you
I
won't be
started,
able to.
listen, I started
Mm-mm.
changing that site until I was like, this is me. And the titles, like, you got your about page and you got all that.
Right, right, right.
But I was like, then we not even there no more. Like we in a different space. And the titles of the different sections of this page were what really spoke to me was the man, the ministry, and the mandate. Right. That thing
See where
right
you're going?
is
Yeah, I
what
see where you're going.
right.
Yeah.
And so, and this to me, this space is the mandate, right? That this is that we have to, I mandated, right, to use my mouth. It's my gift, right? The mandate that comes with me using my mouth. And when it comes to that, there ain't no smoke. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna jump right into
No
this.
smoke.
How about that for an introduction, huh?
There you
We're gonna
go.
jump into it. Thank you for joining us. We already in conversation,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I hope you're ready. Get your cornbread,
Mm-mm.
huh?
See,
Grab
I
you a
like what
cup.
Ashley hold his mic. That means we in for something.
Oh, we in this today. Huh? We in this today. So we want to thank you for tuning
So
in. We want to thank you for tuning into our website. We are what? The last episode of this season.
this is the
Huh?
last one. Season
And if
two.
you
Man,
have
season
not
two is a wrap,
Two
bro.
seasons.
listen, it's just going so fast. But we got more goodness for you. Don't worry, don't trip. But if you haven't subscribed by now, I mean, what you doing?
I mean,
I
I
mean,
mean,
I'm just saying, what are you doing? Right. So go ahead and subscribe, right? You can follow us on IG, Facebook at eatmorecornbread.com. I know you probably could say it with me. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Go
come
ahead and
on,
Emo
huh?
cornbread. Emo
subscribe
cornbread.
to the YouTube page. Hit the notification bell every time we go on live, we premiering, you will be notified and you don't want to miss out, right? So join us. Go to our website at emocornbread.com. Leave some feedback.
Lord.
We want to hear from you. We want to know different topics you got in mind, how these things are resonating with you so we know how to kick this thing off up. So, brothers,
Bruh.
we're going back into it. We're
Bruh.
talking about this thing about the smoke, right? Like
Yeah.
anytime you're in this space of lane of creating and developing and becoming, right? There is always, you're always met with this season or this space of fog, right? Of cloudiness, right? And it can come in so many different ways. Like I was just telling you how I was met by that, right? Thinking about something that I knew that God was giving me to do. I mean, since back in 2015, right? And I've been talking about it since about 2015, excited, and now it's here. Then all of a sudden, a haze hit, right? It caught me out of nowhere, and that haze I can say is defined out of some of fear, right? Fear of
Talk
the
about
fact
it.
that
Talk
it's
about it. Talk
fear
about it
that
now. Talk about it.
come on, all right, listen, fear that it's here, right? I was like, oh my God, this is here. Like, am I ready? Right? Do I have what it takes? Do I have what it possess to shift, a people with what I see? Right? The fact that the magnitude of it, that thing was sit right on your chest and you're like, yo, this is bigger than me. This is a movement. I see so many great things, and it can send you into a whirlwind. The next thing you know, it's real hazy, right? You got your little, hey, you got the blurred eyes, blurred lines, and you can't really see. And I know I had to phone a friend, had to phone Dr. Hill, and he had to bring some clarity, right, to this vision. But we all know that we can come into that space. So, brothers, like, I want us to really unpack and talk about this, helping the people. How do we navigate this space? Like, how can we clear the fog, clear the smoke, clear the room? What do we need to begin to do?
Let me jump into this real quick. So, first and foremost, the smoke and the fog is fake. Let me say that. Let me be very real
Talk,
and very
talk to
clear,
me.
concise. Let me
Talk.
get some condensation so that you can understand how to evaporate this thing that is weighing on you, because that doubt piece and those things that are attached to that are man-made. It is fake. When you are challenged, I don't use that word intentionally. When you are challenged, because challenge is about growth, and growth is about next, and next is about progress, and progress is about tomorrow. So when you are challenged, every time you hear the word challenge, I want you to think about where you're going, not where you've been, and not
Mhm.
even where you are. So when you are challenged to do more and be more, you have to respect the fact that you were chosen in that challenge. Okay. You were chosen in that challenge. Not everybody gets to be chosen in the challenge. You don't believe me? Go through some Q&A with some people that you might know that are still where they were when. And it's not to chastise those individuals, but if you were a friend that was trying to pour in and give that support, you have to watch that story now, right? You have to watch someone sit in that, what's it called? Soot, not fog. What's that stuff out? Kurt, you from California. What's that? Smog?
Smog.
Yeah. You have to watch someone play in smog, not even fog, because it ain't going nowhere. It's kind of like Charlie Brown, right? They're carrying it around them. It's like this dirty, veggie, wriggly stuff that they can't shake because they're half doing their development. So for me, clearing the smoke is about honoring the challenge that finds you. And when you honor that challenge that finds you, you accept it, you embrace it. Of course you're afraid of it because it's different and new. Of course you don't have the blueprint laid out because tomorrow hasn't happened yet. You need to be okay with that. You only can do what today can give and offer. Yesterday is gone and tomorrow may or may not come, but if it does, you'll be thinking about your progress. Clearing that smoke is futuristic. It's about what can you anticipate blindly, tied to a little faith, obviously, right? But at the same time, what you're willing to accept that finds you, because we get afraid about success as well, even in our development, right? It's too big, it's too much. You just talked about that, Ashley. You just talked about, I hear what I'm supposed to do, I feel it. Why am I watching me back here talk about the things I want to do when I have all the tools to be here? And I willingly stay here because I think we did an episode or two ago about this, because that's my what? That's my zone, my comfort zone.
Comfort zone, yeah.
Coping zone. Right, thank you.
So I just wanted to kind of drop that, like, clearing the smoke for yourself. It's about, again, accepting your challenge. Don't even go walk in no one else's smog that ain't even yours. Like, stay away from, you know how they say when you're growing up, don't breathe in the air from Mack trucks and stuff like that because it'll make you nauseous and sick. It's the same analogy. Do not breathe in someone else's smog that's not for you, because sometimes we take on smoke that's not ours. And then we end up dirty and dingy and smoky and carrying weight like Charlie Brown, because again, we don't even know how we got there. But it's that osmosis is real when it comes down to clarity or dissonance. And that's internal within ourselves, to being able to accept where we're supposed to go or remain and allow that smog, forget the fog, because the fog is actually rejuvenating. The fog is literally, you know, the process. The dew on the ground precipitates, goes up, it gets real thick, but we know it's not going to stay. But if it does stay, it's moving, right? It ain't staying for a long time. You can't really go driving it now because it's a little dangerous. And you got to be careful in that fog, but it's supposed to be about rejuvenation at some point because it will clear. The smog finds residence. It weighs you down. It hones you in. You get lost in that. Your breathing changes. Your schema changes. Your mind changes because it wasn't authored by you.
Ooh, I'm gonna keep that going because you brought out my homeland, brother. You brought out the smog in California.
Come on, bro.
What is that? That's pollution, and that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about smoke being pollution. To which
pollution. You on?
Oh my, go ahead, Kurt.
Normally take in, right? I'm supposed to be taking in the positivity, the good air. I'm supposed to be taking in the food I'm getting from my brothers. But then there could be pollution in that. There could be somebody on the gram who says something I don't like and it triggers me. You know, all of these other avenues of somehow informing me of what I'm doing. All of that is pollution. That's noise. That's smoke. I don't want that smoke. That smoke ain't helpful.
Right.
That smoke ain't helpful. It's pollution. It's not giving me what I need. And actually it's the opposite. It's breaking me down two ways. One, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to because I'm sitting in this smog. And then two, I'm probably developing a comfort zone, a coping mechanism for sitting in this smog. So my energy is not going to growth, it's going to cope with toxicity. We're wasting energy there. We got to clear that smoke up so we can put that energy in the right place.
So y'all just gonna talk tonight. That's how y'all gonna.
Brother, he's talking about wasted energy. Like
this is where we are now.
It's real, man. Like it's so simple, right? We don't talk about this enough about sitting in spaces that are pollutants to us.
Mhm.
And we know it.
Yeah.
We talk about toxicity, like we've all been victim to it though, whether it's been association, friendships,
Yeah.
career opportunities that were not aligned to us, ministries, um, generating families not assigned to us. You know, we can go on and on and on. Um, reckoning ourselves,
Mhm.
polluting, being self pollutants of ourselves when we know the writings on the wall and what those writings have said a long time ago. I am a firm believer that every one of us, we get a snapshot to our perspective in life. And whether it's a small snapshot or it's written out, not even in hieroglyphics, it's written out in regular words, you get that message or imaging about where you're supposed to go. It's a feeling, you know, it's a notion, it's a nudge. You hear somebody telling you this thing 5, 10, 20 times over. I see you doing this, I doing this. Some of that stuff is, you know, you can channel and funnel and take in and take out. The repetitiveness of the same target though is a messaging because that's what you're giving off. And sometimes we are in the small because we're giving out all of this frequency that we're not really operating in our lives. Can you imagine being sun ray oriented and providing nourishment to people by existing merely and not even knowledgeable about you being that vessel?
Mhm.
Like people are around you and you are a light. You don't even know it though.
So that you're tipping into my question here, right? Because somebody has a question here. I know I can hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I got you though. Got you. And the question is, how do I know I'm in the smog, right? How do I know I'm polluted? Like what are the things that are causing me to be polluted? How do I know that? How do I know I'm in
Headaches,
that space?
headaches,
Okay.
frustration, not positive.
Short tempers,
These are your symptoms.
triggers,
Yeah, energy
jealous,
depleted.
Mhm.
You're short with your friends and loved ones. You are
insomnia.
aggravated on, I call it aggravated on
I love
demand.
Inside.
Yeah,
Can't think straight. Can't think clearly.
yeah, like you're aggravated on demand, short fused, you know, mad at your kids, your family, your partner, your boss, and it's you.
Mm.
And you know, and but hold up, you know it's you though.
Mm.
You know it's you. And it's scary to acknowledge you because now you gotta go back and rewrite all these wrongs that you caused.
Mm.
Again, it's a growth thing, right? Standing in new growth is about being willing to evolve. And I think to your question, that's the piece. I am going to choose to be in this space because I've done too much damage. And my complacency is comfortable. I created the zone around that. Those that will rock with me will rock with me. Those that won't, they won't. But you are missing 80% of your evolution in life
Mm.
because you won't make one pivot. Right? Step one is pivoting.
Mm.
Step two is walking through the fog. Step three is avoiding the smog altogether because you can recognize it before it even shows up.
Well, Kurt, what you think? Like, how do I get out the fog? How do I get out the smog?
I think we need to develop awareness and techniques, mechanisms that can bring us to awareness.
Mhm.
Get some friends. Talk to those friends about things that are true to you. And over time, your people around you will know when you're moving away from what you want to do. As usually because there's some fog. Maybe I'm frustrated, I'm not sleeping well, I'm not taking care of myself, maybe I'm not eating right. It's something as simple as not eating right, not getting enough sleep. That means my mind is taxed and I'm not going to make the best decisions. That's smoke. That's a I don't know what it is, man. It's just an outcome of you not taking care of yourself. That smoke can be that.
Yeah.
The pollution that goes into you making good decisions for growth can come from overindulgence in your vices. So how do you move forward? Recognize where you want to be, where you are, and the things that are stopping you from getting there. Write them joints down and figure out a plan and get through it. It is that simple, but you got to do that work. If you don't do that work, then you sit spinning your wheels thinking about a way to think through it. when it is really clear. Your mind needs to see this written out. I'm gonna tell you how your mind works. It needs to see it written out. It needs you to write it so you can understand that these are your words. And then it needs you to plan for it, because your brain will say, I recognize that, I've acknowledged it and made it real, and I have a plan for it. Just as simple as a math problem. I can do this all day long if I have a plan, if I have a way to approach this. It doesn't matter what that smoke looks like. I got a method for attacking smoke. I got a big ass fan. It's gonna blow all of this out of the way, because what that means is I can clear the smoke by focusing and by having other folks who know how to focus me. So, you clear it up by awareness and having folks who are also aware of you. So you got to be honest and aware.
You're chopping at the bit, Hip. I see you. I can tell your feet are
Is
going.
it that obvious? Like,
I know your feet are going. Like,
Man, I'm telling y'all, this is stuff I had to learn very recently, because I'm a loner, bro. Like, I'd much rather just be chilling on my own. But to do something different, we have to do something different. I have to share.
I heard you with my big ear. I heard you with my big ear, right? So you did, yeah, I did fidget because I was triggered to speak to asking a question. Why is it important for us to become our own firefighters for our lives when it comes to clearing the smoke? Why is that important?
Because if you don't clear the smoke, who's going to? Right? You said in a pivotal, I don't know what the word that is. You said it very
I said it quickly because it's a mouthful. Pivotal.
Pivotal, right? Thank you. You said a very key thing. We'll go with that, right? And that is this, right? You said that, first of all, the smog is yours. It's you, right?
You started the fire. You started, hold up.
You are the arsonist. You are the man, right? You are the one who started the fire. Right. And so with that, it is upon your responsibility to begin to put your fire out. You have extinguishers, right? You have smoke detectors. All of these things are going off in your house, right? And so you have a responsibility, right? And that responsibility is to put it out. And so it is you, right? You taking that stance of clearing the smoke. It's not your neighbor's responsibility to clear your smoke, right? No, they have their own smoke and their own fog that they're walking through. They can barely see yours, because they're in theirs, right? So, but we have to take responsibility of the fact that, first of all, okay, it is hazy and it ain't my glass is not clean, right? It's the fact that there's legit smoke in here. There's legit fog in here, and I need to get out of it, right? And when you acknowledge the fact, awareness, right, that this is here, then you need to do action steps, right? What I need to do to get out of it.
Drop mic, because we're back to accountability. We just touched on that a second ago. We're back to awareness and ownership. And like Curtis said a second ago, it is this simple, but that action piece, I'm an executionist. I'm not going to just talk about anything that I ain't trying to do. I'm not going to give advice or direct anyone to do anything that I can't do. So execution wins. You are only going to be on the other side of what looks cloudy or foggy or smoky by putting yourself in the pathway to walk that walk.
Wow. Period.
It is your walk, though. I think you were talking to that a second ago, Ashley and Curtis. It's your walk. It's no one else's walk. It's your walk. We did an episode a while back about pivoting during a pandemic. And I think this episode ties to very closely, because it's like we get the awareness that things have changed and we got to do something different. Got it. Now, some of us may still have that stuff around us that followed us through the pandemic for some reason. We've been immobile, but it's still there. Again, I go back to my Charlie Brown references, clouds in the back, squiggly lines around me. I'm looking a little dingy. I'm not whole. I'm not together, because I've allowed a space for that still to be present in my life. And I have much more common sense, and I want better. I want different, actually. I don't really want to be connected to what doesn't make me feel whole, what doesn't make me feel appropriate or right or forward or progressive, or even if I'm like dealing with struggles that are mental or lost or just hurt or pain, those things are familiar. Those things have created their own triggers. So you have an awareness to how they make you feel. I say this. I'm gonna shift into my crumb, actually. Y'all don't mind. Y'all don't mind.
Shift in.
I'll say this. when you get the awareness of your smoke, identify it. Identify your smoke. That is the only way you're going to clear it. Identify your smoke and be authentic and real with yourself about the detriments. Smoke equals detriment. It equals suffrage. It equals asphyxiation almost, right? Am I on the right part? Am I talking right?
You're talking good, sir.
Smoke is an inhibitor to life, period. Identify that smoke, pair it to something that you need to negate. Start working and doing that work Curtis talked about in terms of steps, pathways, being real about it, not downplaying it, not putting it on a shelf to deal with later, because you will have that for your entire life. Clarity comes from a willingness to charter, wand things out your way aggressively. Get into that. Get into that. Even if it's foreign, unknown, even if it seems like it's a risk you're taking and it will put you on the most vulnerable front street that you've ever been on in your life. Guess what? Clarity equals peace and happiness, because you're not carrying soot and weight around you, either that you didn't subscribe to or that has been baggage for you in your life for a period of time. When we grow up, growing up is a part of letting go. When I say when I grow up, I talk about when I want to be when I grow up. I talk about a space that doesn't exist yet, but I can see myself there. Clearing the smoke is the same way. Grow up, see yourself where you want to be, get there.
Well,
I'm gonna jump in.
Y'all don't be quiet on me now.
No.
Y'all don't be quiet on me now. I was on because I'm passionate about betterment. Like, we don't have to stay in smoke. It's toxic to our lungs and survival. Whatever's toxic around you, you can remove yourself from. You can remove yourself from. Do it. I dare you.
If you don't mind, Ash, I'm gonna jump in and let you close us out here. So here's some smoke you don't want. The smoke you don't want is toxic. It's that air around that says, you know what, we're conspiring to do something that's not to build. We don't want that smoke. We want the smoke that comes around and says, breathe this in, get elevated. That's good smoke. You see, not all smoke is detrimental. I hear you, Hip, and it can be. But we can create the smoke around us that says, breathe this in and you might grow.
That's called oxygen.
Breathe this in and you might grow. You might do some things that maybe you weren't ready to do, because now you came into contact with somebody who's aware of their smoke and can manipulate it. Oh, my smoke isn't toxic, but it is toxic to folks who's not ready to grow. And if you're not ready to grow, you don't want this smoke. What you got, Ashley?
My. Well, I'm gonna hit you with this. All right. How do I clear the smoke? I'm gonna hit you what we learned in elementary school. Stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop. What you talking about? Let me help you with this, right? Stop and drop and roll. First and foremost, stop. Stop. It is dangerous to be moving around in a smoke, in a fog. You can't see, right? You walking around in your house and there's smoke. You are, as he talked about, inhaling all of that in, and then you will die of asphyxiation. You will die of suffocation. Stop, right? The second thing you need to do, and will do most immediately, is drop. You need to get low. Right, and that may look like different things. It may be getting
Lil John.
It may like
Lil John.
Oh, okay. It may look like getting into a space of prayer, right?
Window to the wall.
That's different, right? It may look like humbling yourself, right? And acknowledging the fact that you are in a smoke and you need help. Right. But it looks like lowering yourself, changing altitudes, right? All that smoke is up here. Come down. Right? Change the altitude, take a step back, take a beat back, reorient yourself to a new space and to a new place where you can begin to see. Because if you get low, while you're on down low, you can see where the smoke is being sucked out and you can see the way out. Right. And then the next thing you need to do is roll out. Right. You need to roll out. Right. Right.
You
You need to roll out. You got to move, right? You know,
Okay.
you don't stick around in the smoke. It's time to move, right? So if you find after you getting low, you see the way out, go.
This man actually, I can't.
And he dropped.
Listen.
Huh? Because that was, can you get a benediction? I'm ready for the benediction, bro.
Listen,
You know what
that's
I'm
what we
saying?
got for you all. This is how we wrapping up the season. Okay, this is season 2 on lock. Okay, so thank you for vibing with us. Listen, we closing this thing out. Right, it's time to roll out for real. And so we love you all. Thank you so much for hanging with us, vibing with us. Again, if you have not yet subscribed, what you waiting for? Right, season 3. You waiting on season 3? We got that coming for you too. But go ahead and subscribe for us. IRG. Words are leaving. At Eat More CornbReaD, right? Go to our website, eatmorecornbread.com. Leave feedback about today's episode. We want to hear from you. If you got questions specifically, hit us up on email at thatgoodcornbread@gmail.com. Well, until next time, folks.
All righty.